What's a really awkward situation that everyone can relate with? Saying hello or how are you to somebody and getting 100% ignored. Someone showing everyone in the group something on their phone and waiting until it is your turn. Having your stomach rumble in the middle of a quiet class/meeting. Undefined. Not being able to pick up when someone else is completely disinterested in what you are talking about. Ever drag your shoe across a tile floor and have it make a loud, wet fart sound? So everyone in the room looks at you. Then you insist it was your shoe and try to make the sound again. But nothing happens? Yeah. That. When you've had multiple interactions with someone but you can't remember their name but it's gone too far to admit you've forgotten it so you just have to call them love or mate forever. Being called on to answer a question you really have no idea how to answer. Being at a friend's house as a kid and the friend's mother starts yelling at your friend. Being at a friend's house as a kid and the friend's father walks in only wearing underwear. The opposite as well, having a friend over and your parents do this. Watching a sex scene with your parents. Visited my aunt and uncle 7 years ago and we were hanging out watching TV. My uncle clicks through channels and stops on Harold and Kumar escape from Guantanamo Bay. Within minutes it's the shaved pussy party scene. My aunt and uncle sit there in silence watching, not saying anything until the scene is over while I sweat bullets. If you put an acorn between my butt cheeks I could have cracked it. A few months ago I visit again. Uncle flips through channels. It's Starship Troopers. Within minutes it's a sex scene and the boobies are out. I'm not visiting anymore. When you think someone waves at you so you wave back. But they were waving at someone behind you. When you're finishing up at the checkout and the cashier puts the notes on top of the receipt and then coins on top of that. Then the next person steps up and you're fumbling. Trying to disassemble the stack in your hand. Gather your shopping. Say thanks and move away at the same time. When you are video chatting. Start talking and because of the delay you interrupt each other all the time. Stop talking. Start again. Interrupt the other one. Stop talking. Never-ending story. When someone asks what's going on? And you respond good. You? The fake smile on your face when you receive a terrible gift. When you're walking and almost trip for no reason and look back at the invisible stick that you tripped on. When you reply to a stranger who says hello. But then realize they were on the phone and not speaking to you. Happened to me just yesterday and I didn't get any sleep last night as I couldn't stop reliving the moment. When you swallow water wrong and it turns to a coughing fit in 2020. When you say a funny joke but all you get is silence. When you're saying goodbye to someone. And then you both end up walking in the same direction. Or when you turn and walk into a wall with people watching. Undefined. When you're having a conversation with someone and you don't hear what they say so you ask them to repeat and they do. But you still don't hear it and ask them to repeat again and they do. And you still don't know what they said. Do you ask them to repeat again and maybe still not hear it? Pretend you heard it and nod your head and hope it's an appropriate response? Stab yourself in the eye with a pen to create a diversion and change the subject? Standing there while two people talk about something you don't know about. When you're walking past co-worker and you've already said hello earlier. Everyone's making that weird flat smile. That walk down a long hallway toward each other where you've clearly seen the other person. But they're too far away to say something. So you do the awkward look around until you get close enough to say hey and keep walking. Undefined. When you walk out of the store empty-handed. Feeling like you just stole something. Go to wash your hands and the water comes out at 1,000 miles an hour. Splashing your crotch. You are of course. At work. Walking through a doorway only to catch your clothes on the handle and have it slingshot you backwards. When you try to contribute to a conversation and someone cuts you off multiple times. And you patiently wait for your turn to speak even though it already was, but by the time the air is clear. The subject has already changed and what you were going to say is now irrelevant. When you go for a hug but the other person goes for a handshake. So you start with a handshake but do a weird hug at the same time with your hands in each other's crotches. That awkward moment where you and somebody else try to let each other speak but you both try speak at the same time and just keep failing. When you're walking on a sidewalk with two other friends and you're the person that does not fit so you have to stay behind them. Undefined. When you start to tell a story in a group but in middle of sentence realize that no one is actually listening and ever so slowly you get quiet and hope no one took notice. Edit. Wow. Seems someone _did_ take notice this time. I asked myself a few times what might be wrong with me BC of this, but I also could imagine I'm not the only one this is happening. But I don't think that sometime is wrong with you. It's just all too often that people just don't think so much. I think people in general mean no harm. They maybe were in this moment just not as emphatic or don't have the antenna in the everyday hustle and bustle to notice something that doesn't jump in the face with a neon sign. Figuratively speaking, or as for this case, notice someone's contribution that is not bursting with self-confidence or provides the perfect introduction, but perhaps acts rather a bit introverted. Having happy birthday sung to you.